Training day for officers on the front line. Border guards and wildlife officials from Kenya and Tanzania are being taught to identify animal parts, which are often disguised or concealed in cargo or vehicles. All of these items were confiscated by the Kenya Wildlife Service. There's much work to do.
Only 50% of those that are convened here for this training this week could recognize elephant ivory. Only one of our 40 participants could recognize pangolin scales.
Such stark gaps in the global fight against the illegal wildlife trade were top of the agenda at the London conference. Speaking to several heads of state from across the world, Britain's Prince William, a passionate conservationist, said he recognised that law enforcement resources are already stretched.
But I am asking you to see the connections, to acknowledge that the steps you take to tackle illegal wildlife crime could make it easier to halt the shipments of guns and drugs passing through your borders.
It is an industry that is booming. Illegal ivory trade activity has more than doubled since 2007. Over 1,300 rhino were killed in 2015 alone. Asian tigers have seen a 95% decline in population. In the last year, more than 100 rangers have died in their line of work. US Attorney General Jeff Sessions said that Washington would give $90 million to programs that fight illegal wildlife traffickers.
Their criminal acts harm communities, degrade institutions, destabilize our environment, and funnel billions of dollars to those who perpetuate evil in the world.
It's not just big mammals at risk. Peruvian authorities say over 12,000 critically endangered frogs have been taken from Lake Titicaca in the last 5 years to make a juice that some believe has medicinal properties, despite no scientific evidence. But it's not all bad news. At the beginning of this year, China closed its domestic ivory market.
This market was both stimulating demand for ivory and also enabling illegal ivory to be laundered through this legal trade. But that same issue still exists for big cats. There's a trade in leopard bone products, large-scale commercial trade.
White says existing UN conventions already offer firepower for tackling the illegal wildlife trade, but they are not being used effectively. In the closing declaration, conference attendees pledged to work together to tackle the illegal wildlife trade as a serious and organised crime. Campaigners say the real test is how quickly they will act on those words. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News at the London Conference on the Illegal Wildlife Trade.